Too many rides here. It's another day in the Too Many Rides garage, and we're getting back to the 1996 xr600r that I'm building out of spare parts from my leftovers. It's parts from the bin, but it's not just any parts. I went through and looked for the worst parts I could find, the most nicked up, scratched up, usable parts. They all have to be serviceable. It's got to be a decent bike. At least when I release it, it's got to be a bona fide, good working bike. And it's going to be up for sale. We last left off after finishing up the throttle. Now it's on to compression release. And I've chosen a compression release out of the bin that is the worst one I have. But it's really in good shape. I hate to let it go. I completely hate to let it go because you can't get these. You can't go buy a new one. Honda no longer supports the xr600r, and you're left with old used parts and aftermarket accessories. So even though I'm saying I hate to use this one, it does have a nick in the outer cable. That's not going to hurt anything. That's certainly serviceable. And as you go down the line, I'm not really even seeing anything else wrong with it. This is a complete cable. It's not missing anything. It's got the rubber boot on it. Looks like I need to clean it up before I put it on. Putting on a compression release isn't a hard thing to do. It's one of the simpler things. But in order that I'm putting the stuff on here, this is item number 2. It's going over here on your left handlebar, and normally it's going to go upside down like this near your clutch cable, but I like to have them about like this. I like them up on top. And then it's going to go around. Remember, your throttle cables are the closest thing to the headstock. This goes outboard and then swings right on down. It's easy to install, easy to hook up. That cleaned up nicely, and I gotta say, I really like this whole assembly. Throughout the years, I haven't had any trouble with them. Very low maintenance. The ball end can stay dry in here, and it never really wears out. About the only thing I don't like about it is you have to take your grip off the handlebars in order to slide this on or off. So if you're making changes, it can kind of cause you some extra work because of that. But other than that, it's a great item. And like I say, if you're starting from scratch, this should be the second part you put on. It's going to travel right down here through the outer portion of the triple clamp, in between the odometer, around the outside of your throttle cable, outside. After that, it's a matter of hooking it up to your motor. Number one, you got to make sure you got your nuts backed off here enough to be this wide here. Number two, you want to go ahead and hook up your actual lever that's on the motor into place like so. Number three, you just need to get this up and in there. Now, what we're talking about next is adjustment here. Only when you reach the end of your travel on your lever up there are you actually actuating, actually letting compression out of the motor. The next thing you want to do is check to see operation. First of all, let's find compression. There we go. Right there. Compression again, and yeah, at the end of the travel, it's working well. Compression, release. and secure it on the bike. So regarding the clutch cable, there's a lot of wear that goes on and a lot of stress right here on your clutch cable. So you want to lube this up anytime you're assembling it and keep it lubed. Even though the OEM cable has a plastic bushing in here, whatever you want to call it, to help it slide back and forth and around, it's a good thing to have it lubed up. So what I do is I just get some axle grease and put it on there. You don't need a whole lot. You don't need to make a mess. But I'd like to see it get down under here. Now for the 96, we're putting on this really nice clutch lever for somebody who's going to get the bike. The reason I say it's really nice is, opposed to OEM, you can make adjustments on the fly with your free play in the cable. So that's really cool. But it's not OEM, so I'm not going to save it for my spares. And it's not that I don't like it, it's just that in my world I have extra parts and I've got bikes. And those extra parts need to be interchangeable. If you have a bunch of one-off kinds of a thing, then they're not going to be interchangeable with the other one. So it's like if one of my more important bikes has a Parco bat, I can rob one temporarily from off of another bike. Or I've already got something in my spares that I can use temporarily until I get a new one. Okay, so your cable's going to go up under here, right below your compression release, and then dive straight down. It doesn't utilize the clip on the left side of the headstock here. It just dives down and then hooks up to the clutch down at the bottom. At this point, we want to go ahead and hook up the clutch at the bottom now, before I secure the handle on the handlebar. Okay, let's see if I can remember how to do this. Here you've got two nuts on this thing. One is to draw it up and make the adjustment, the other one's to lock that in place. So let's back those off of here from wherever they were upon disassembly off some other bike. And then the next thing you have to do is get the end of the cable hooked up here to the clutch arm. Okay, that's easy enough, right? Then let the slack off here, and you need to have all the slack in the cable you can get. So in other words, up top here, you're not going to be in the ferrule, so that your cable, so you can get all the slack. Now you just want to slide this back like so, until you can get that through the motor housing. Okay, got it? Now I'm checking where my engagement is, and I can see I don't have any engagement right there. So I'm going to take that there and figure where that is here. That's where I want to put my nut. I'm going to back it off a hair though, because I have adjustment up top as well. So that was done with free play in the cable. Just checking the clutch arm to see where the clutch engages. Okay, so that's kind of in place there, not tightened. Now you come up top. I was telling you, this is a really nice clutch lever. However, it's made for one size fits all. And with that being said, it's made to fit fat bars. We don't have fat bars going on here. I don't have fat bars going on anywhere except for the xr600r. So you have to have that bushing there underneath, or you're not using it. You want to have the end of your lever right here at the end of your grip. Okay, that's just temporarily on there. Okay, that's a little better. All right, so now you need to adjust your cable out. Right now, it's not going to work the clutch very well. I think I might make an adjustment down below because I'm still not getting enough of what I want here. So I've got too much play going on here. I got to take a lot of that out. It's more than the adjuster up top can deal with. So I still have play, quite a bit really. Still have play, and I'm going to go with that right there for now. So it's back up top. Here's the amount of play I have right now. That's a little too much. That should be good. Okay, so clutch installed. That's how I do it. Later on you'll see that there's a guide right here that comes off the tank bolt that you're supposed to have. Keep it from getting burnt on your motor. Keep it from getting chopped up inside your extreme stoppers. Okay, speedometer, huh? Well, we've chosen the worst cable I can find, yet it's serviceable. There's nothing wrong with it, really. What we've got here is a hold down screw that goes through and holds the cable in after it's installed. And when it's installed properly. You see, you've got a forked end of the cable here, and it's like a screwdriver blade down there. And you need to make sure that's engaged properly before you move on. So this should be your first part of the installation. And I can look and see which way that's pointing. And it's pointing right there. Okay, that went on. I'm gonna go ahead and hold that in there. That's looking good. Now, there's a guide right here that's not on the bike yet, but we are going to put that on to keep your speedometer cable from getting caught up in your wheel or any excess, something funny happening. This goes on your fork and holds your cable. However, it's got a spot here where there's a relief, and then there's a notch on the back side of here that relief goes to. So let's get it on the cable, get it on the forks, and then find that little keeper spot. There it is. Now, in order to put this together, you got to have this little centerpiece here. You got your screw, your center bushing to keep you spaced apart here, so you don't over tighten it and break it apart. And then your nut. And there's a place for this nut to fit, so you don't have to like hold it with a little tool or something. Okay, that's all fitting just like it should. Okay, so that's good. Last thing on that is tightening up the other end of the cable. Now, if we were to spin this wheel, we'd find, hey, we're rolling along. I feel confident that it's all in shape. So we're starting to shape up here with our cables and stuff. We've got our odometer, got our clutch, compression release, throttle. That's the way they should go. That's the way I do it.